Oh, good morning. Adjust the camera so you get more of the sky and less of the dashboard. We are in sunny downtown Fairfield, Pennsylvania. It is May something, approximately 9:52 anti-meridian, and a whopping 66 degrees. And good morning to you. Going to look at another property today, and on my way in to do that. But I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there is this giant, it looks like, I don't know for sure, but it looks like a giant ball of fire in the sky that seems to be trying to peek out between or through the gaps in clouds. And I'm not sure. I think I remember hearing about this fabled ball of fire in the sky called the sun. Are you guys familiar with this? I can't remember if it was a realistic dream that I had once, or that if the real see right now, it's poking through the clouds now, and it feels warm on the skin, as it should. It's fire, but that's amazing to me. I don't know what it is, but Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Barbara. Good morning, Matthew. Good morning, Six Questions. Good morning, Faye. How are you all doing? Thank you, everybody, for watching Dale Dye interview last night. It's my favorite interview ever, and I think it's the first time I actually did a good one. It took me a lot of years of practice, 6 years of practice, but I think I finally got a good one. Sunshine on My Shoulders, indeed, the classic Bob Denver song. Before he had his role as Gilligan, he was a folk singer. Good morning, Phil. How are you? Yeah, we're driving along on the Fairfield Road as we do every day. And it's, it's spring. What do you want from spring, right? You need the rain. You need the rain so that the flowers and the trees got something to grow with, They got to pop back to life. You need that water. Babber says he is doing so well at 80. Dale Dye is who she's referring to. Yes, he is. Hard to believe he's 80, actually, because he still full of life there, Phil says, not your first good one. Stop with that talk. Oh, well, I'm just saying, okay. Let me rephrase that. I felt like it was my first good one. Like I finally hit a stride that I've been kind of dancing around for a number of years. Stella says, no! I hear you can get natural vitamin D from the ball of fire. I need it so bad. Yeah. You know what I take, Stella, which might be interesting to you? I take D3 and K2 in a medicine dropper, but it's so potent, you take 1 drop a day. This bottle lasts you like a year. I haven't had to replace it yet. And apparently, and I forget the science behind this, so I'm not going to try to get into it, but D3 is good for you, but it can also do some harm in the long term with too much use or something like that. So you need K2 to help with, I think, absorption, but also counteract the whatever negative effects, something like that. Maybe somebody in the audience knows better than I, but I know I read something that said you need to take the two together, and I said that's enough for me. Thank you, Phil, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Phil's making it a lot easier because it seems like every day he sends me enough for probably the amount of gas that I spend on these shows. So I thank you for that there, Phil. I appreciate that greatly. Things aren't getting any cheaper, and well, it's actually things are getting cheaper, but my expenses, the business's expenses, are going up. I actually have to have a meeting with my accountant so that I could figure out how to pay myself better because not only are the business expenses going up, but my personal expenses are. You own a house, and suddenly, what's great for a while, suddenly you're like, oh, that leak wasn't there before, and so it's a lot of fun coming up with money for things. Mimic Man says, John Denver or Bob Denver? Well, of course, I know it's John, but I like to play stupid once in a while. You purposely say the wrong name for a couple reasons. One, to see who's paying attention. Two, to then vamp on that notion. And like I said, before he got his role as Gilligan, he was a folk singer. Of course, only an idiot would think that's true. And that's what I'm trying to portray, as an idiot. Who wants to show how highly intelligent they really are? It's a lot more fun to play the fool. C said hi. Hi, C. Hi, C. Get it? Delicious. Babber says, my last blood test showed low vitamin D for some reason. Taking a supplement one time a week. Yeah, I think vitamin D is one of those vitamins that we do not produce on our own. This is why you got to get out in the sun or take it. I think you can get it from some foods as well. Mimic Man, thank you very much for the super chat. Muchas gracias. Katie, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Katie. Ty Webb says, I thought April showers were supposed to bring Mayflowers. It is, what it has done is it's turned into March, April, May showers bring June, July, August drought. Because it stops raining all day and all week in June. And then we go till about September, October before we start getting the shit weather again. But in the meantime, we start getting droughts. So, nothing. I've never noticed the droughts to be too bad. I remember several years ago. Oh, let's see. This is when I first opened Gettysburg. We had a summer with no substantial rain, and the grass, everywhere, but where we had our first location, which you can go and see if you want a little tourism and AG history combined. Next time you're in town, you go, it used to be called Flex and Flanagan's. I don't know what's in there now. Cindy's Country Store was there, but she's not there anymore. So I don't know what's there right now, but there's like a vape shop, this building, and then the Colton Motel right there. If you go back in the parking lot of the Quality Inn, and you get to the end of those buildings, you'll see a little patch of grass right by the Colton, and there's a shed there. I put that shed there back in 2005, and that was Gettysburg's first location. No electricity, that means no air conditioning. The only relief we got from the cold was a cooler full of ice and the shade of a tent fly that we bought from a sutler store and put up so that we had something to shield us from the sun. But anyway, it was, on that patch of grass, and we had no rain, and so the grass got all brown and dry and crunkly, but the dirt underneath it was also brown and dry and cracking. It was like the desert, and it was that was a bad one. That was a hot summer. Hot, I say. Thank you, Rich, for the super chat. Estella says, fortunately, I just had my blood work done and it came wonderfully. Good! My doctor was very impressed. I'm happy to hear that, Estella. Dragoon says, good morning, team. Good morning to you, Dragoon. So now I gotta go look at a house up on the Biglerville Road, so I'm going to, my GPS has me going through town. That is crazy talk. That is crazy talk. I'm going to reroute myself through the field of battle, over to the Biglerville Road. Oh God, a new driver. Please be kind.
Head north on Reynolds Avenue South.
You head
towards
north
Stone
on
Meredith
Reynolds
Avenue.
Avenue South.
Continue on Reynolds Avenue
I'll
South
continue.
for 1 mile.
Thank you. Rich Snyder said, Bob Denver, John Denver, only Matt can combine the two icons. Yes, thank you, Matthew Gillespie. Good to hear you, Matt. Thank you, sir. It's good to be heard. It's good to be heard. So last night, Cindy's daughter's boyfriend came over. Chase is his name. And he's a cool kid. We really like him. We always say if they ever break up, she can go find somewhere else to live, but we'd like to take Chase. And so anyway, Chase came over for dinner, and he requested these burgers I made last year. And I made them. I wasn't too pleased with them because I forgot what I did to them last year. I just was kind of winging it, and they loved it. And I was like, I couldn't replicate this because I don't know what I did. So I tried my best, and they liked it, so whatever. But my point is that I had the They'll Die show waiting so that when it premiered, it would just start playing. So we're sitting there eating, and then I hear the audience build music play. So I go in and watch it, and then Chase and Paige go and they play a little game of checkers in the living room, and Cindy and I are in the den watching it and stuff. But then Chase has to leave, and he comes in to say goodbye. But it just so happens to be when Dale Dye is talking about his first Purple Heart, and he just kind of like ignores the conversation with the girls and starts getting into that. And he was like, who is this guy? And I told him, and he's like, really? And I go, yeah. And he's like, oh, I gotta watch this. And because he's seen Private Ryan, he's seen all those, but he didn't realize all that went into making those movies. And that made me feel good. Estella says, next time I am in Gettysburg, I will memorialize Getty's bike patch of grass. Yes, you got to go take a look there and see. I would love to get permission to go into the shed because we left graffiti in there, and I don't remember what we wrote. I felt I had to make my mark. I knew it wasn't going to last forever, you know.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Wadsworth Avenue.
There's a pine tree there on that little patch of grass that when we were there in 2005 was just a few inches taller than I am, and I'm 6'1". And now the thing is like, it's towering over the roof of the buildings around it and everything. And it's
turn right onto Wadsworth Avenue.
All right, I know where I'm going. I just don't know exactly where the thing is, lady. Come on. Well, let me pull over here. It's the bus. Okay.
In half a mile, turn right onto Robinson Avenue.
Here's to you, General Robinson. Daniel says, I need to get back out to Gettysburg. You really do. You really do. 'Tis a great place. 'Tis indeed. Oh, don't forget, folks, today is the AG Today Day. So we will be on live tonight on YouTube, AG Today. Angelica, I forget her last name, but she is opening, listen to this, guys, listen to this. The empire grows. She is opening a donut shop. She's been selling donuts at the farmers market and in Bantam Roasters for a year or two now, and she sells out all the time. They're very good, so she's opening her own place.
Turn right onto Robinson Avenue.
Out on the Fairfield Road, and it's called Devil's Den Donuts. And she asked me, she said, now she's affiliated with...
In 800 feet after the railroad crossing, turn right.
She's affiliated with Bantam Roasters. She used to work for them, and they're kind of partnering with her in this venture. And so she said to me, she goes, so I'm going to be opening my own place soon. And she's like, would you mind if
turn right onto Mummasburg Road.
Would you mind if we carried Little Ground Top? And I said, would I mind? What are you, nuts? Of course I wouldn't mind. It's great. So we have a new blend coming out. This is now Little Ground Top is going
In
to
a quarter
be
mile, turn left onto Howard Avenue.
a medium roast. We're coming out with a dark roast, and both of them will be available for sale in bags there. But not only that, but they will be the exclusive blends of Devil's
Turn
Den
left onto
donuts.
Howard Avenue.
Will you shut up? They'll be the exclusive blends of Devil's Den donuts.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Pennsylvania 34
You're
North,
always
Big River
interrupting. Which means that those of you who would like to get a cup of Little Ground Top instead of buying a whole bag and trying it when you get home, it will be possible there, because whenever you order a cup of coffee, whether it's medium or dark, it's going to be either Little Ground Top or our new coffee, which has a name, but I'm not going to say yet. So that is exciting. And then also I had a meeting the other day with the Bantam people, and I said, a lot of people ask me,
Turn left onto Pennsylvania 34 North, Biglerville Road.
A lot of people ask me, can I just get a cup of Little Ground Top when I go to Bantam? And the answer is no. But it is now, yes, very possibly, because
continue on Pennsylvania 34 North for 1 mile.
Because they're going to, they have a new espresso machines, which means that they're going to be able to have a featured coffee and then their regular, day-to-day coffee that they use. So you will be able to go in there, and Devil's Den Donuts out on the Fairfield Road once that's opened. And you'll be able to get yourself a cup and a bag, or a cup or a bag, or whatever combination you want. Now, I must increase my bust. No, I must say goodbye. Katie says the interview with Captain Dillard was excellent. My husband, who's a Marine veteran, 60-second PVI, I know him, and I greatly enjoyed it. That's awesome. Thank you both. I appreciate it. And you guys, yeah, but when I keep interrupting the news, Barbara, there's something, of comedic value there. Whether you agree with me or not, a different story. Anyway, I got to get going. So I will see you guys tonight on AG Today, where I will continue to interrupt Bethany during the news. Until then, Godspeed.